So many great things at the library, but of course, just like all of us, they've had to adjust and adapt throughout the COVID-19 times. Let's bring in Steve Ketchum. He is the young adult librarian over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Great to have you with us, Steve. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Great to be here.
So I so miss the library.
Yeah, so I mean, we are open, and we've been open since last summer for people just to come in and grab materials. So we're limiting people even now to 45 minutes. So, but anybody can come in, grab things off our shelves, check them out, and be on their ways.
So with that, Steve, too, we know for so many students, the library has been kind of that place for them to get together with other students, like a study zone. Are you allowing for people to get together? I know that usually you have those study rooms.
Yeah, we do have the study rooms, but currently those are not open. That will be something opened up down the road, but no, those were not open during COVID for obvious reasons. We didn't want people to gather in groups, and eventually those will open again, but they are currently not.
We're joined right now with Steve Ketchum. He is the young adult librarian over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Stephen, I will say, when we're talking about the library, what are the hours right now? Are you still open 7 days? How is that working?
So yes, we still are open 7 days a week. They're a little bit modified over our traditional hours. So Monday through Thursday, we're open 10 to 7. Friday and Saturday, we're open 10 to 5. And Sundays, we're open 12 to 5.
So as we go into the summer months, I know the library typically will do kind of that summer reading program. Mm-hmm. Is that going to be happening this year?
Yes. So yeah, we will do our summer reading program. I think someone's coming on next week after to talk more in depth, but our summer reading program will kick off on June the 12th. We're doing all virtual again this summer. We did virtual last summer. We're going to keep that going again, and it will last until September the 3rd.
Steve, do people still read old-fashioned books like the young generation?
Yeah, so a lot of people do. I mean, every generation still reads traditional paper, books. People still listen to books on CD, but people are also transitioning over more to the electronic formats. And, we have 3 different services that offer ebooks and audiobooks. So we have one called Overdrive, one called Cloud Library, and one called Hoopla that people can use to get our ebooks. And you can grab those anytime, 24/7. You can be, across the world and still access those ebooks. So that's a real benefit to being able to get electronic books.
That is a good deal. I will say, I used to be an old school book person. I like, turning the pages and the smell of the book. And then you get addicted to the iPad. And they even had it where when you flip the page, it made the sound like you were turning the page of a book. And then my iPad crashed. And I'm in a love-hate relationship with Apple right now. So I haven't bought a new one. So I've been going back to my old school books because I typically buy them at some of these big sales and donate them to the homeless. And then I'm down there the other day and I was like, oh, I haven't read that. Oh, I haven't read that. I haven't read that. So now I have a huge stack next to the bed. So sometimes, that's one good thing. Like the battery never dies on your old-fashioned book.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's benefits to both. I mean, with electronic books, the great thing is like I can load up my iPad with a bunch of books. I don't have to lug physical things around if I'm going on a trip or something like that. I can read, with dim light on my iPad, so I'm not, interfering when my spouse is sleeping, but I don't have to have a light on. So there are benefits to both formats.
We're joined by Steve Ketchum. He is the young adult librarian over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. I know that there's like the pass system that is going on right now. Tell us more about this park pass system.
Yeah, so that's a really cool program that we're a part of, and it's in its 14th year. It's called the Michigan Activity Pass, and it allows you to use your library card to check out a pass to over 450 locations in Michigan, and you can get discounted or free admission to these locations. And they're all over the state. There are, historic sites, cultural attractions, state parks, campgrounds. And recently, the Huron-Clinton Metro Parks came on board. So all 13 of those Metro Parks are available. And so that includes like Stony Creek and Kensington. So just, and when you get a pass for one of those Metro Parks, you get a daily vehicle pass for free. So it's just a really good deal. It's a really great way for people to get out and enjoy nature, both this weekend, the holiday weekend, in the summer. And
so with that too, do you have to have the current library card to be able to get one of those passes? How's that working?
Yes, you do. So, I mean, the way it works is like if you go to our website, westbloomfieldlibrary.org, we have a section on our homepage called the services section. And then we have a link to recreational passes. And when you get to the Michigan Activity Pass site, you will put where you're starting from. So like West Bloomfield for me, you will put how far you're willing to go. So you can do 20 miles, 50 miles. I think there's all kinds of increments. Then you will say where your home library is. And then you can sort of select the different kind of locations you want to go to. So if you just wanted to go to state parks, you could just select that. After that, it will give you results. There's an option there that says get pass. And then when you do that, you'll have to put your library card number in. It'll show you the days that are available. There's only so many passes available per day. So you will then do get pass. You'll look for whatever date you can go. You'll put your library card in. Then you'll print the pass out. So you can do that from home. Apparently they have a mobile option too. Now it's just happened, so I don't quite know how that works, but there is a mobile option that you can take with you. And you're limited to one pass per library card per week. And you have 7 days to visit the location after you check it out. And I will just say, and I think most people know this in the current environment, even though things are getting better, I would always look at the website, call ahead just to check on hours and, make sure they're going to be open when you plan to go.
Right, because I would imagine as well, though, some of these places may have capacity limits as well.
That is correct. That is correct.
Steve,
there's like all kinds of places. Like I said, beyond parks, I mean, there's things like Arts and Scraps in Detroit. There's, art museums like Cranbrook, the Flint Institute of Arts, the DIA, like Legoland Discovery Center in Auburn Hills, Arab American Museum in Dearborn Holocaust Center. So there are just tons of places around the state that you could go.
This is so great for parents as well, because so many of the kids have been spending the past year in front of a computer screen. Yeah. This is a great way to actually get them out and into a building to be able to see and experience history as well.
Yeah, great way to visit a new place, to get outdoors. I know everybody's, really wanting to get out and, get back out and visit places again. So it's a great way to do it.
Steve Ketchum with us here on the MegaCast. He's the young adult librarian over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. And with that, Steve, any other events coming up at the library that you want to share with us?
No, I mean, we're always doing programming. So, people just check our event calendar on our website. We have like an art and literature program going on. We have book clubs always going on. They're all virtual currently. Just maybe a few other things. I mean, we do offer, if people are looking for like book clubs, if they're looking for an easy way to do a title for their book club, we do offer what we're calling book kits to go. And in those kits, you get 10 copies of the book. You get information on the author, discussion questions, all contained. Because a lot of times, book clubs have problems getting enough copies of books for their members. So we offer these both in the adult department and the youth department. So that's a really great resource if people are out there and have book clubs and want an easy way to do it.
And with that as well, if someone has a library card that may be expired, how can they get a new one?
Yeah, so
that's me, by the way. That's it. And I'm going to kind of tell you a secret too. For years, I used my husband's. He never had a library card, and when I moved here, I still had a North Carolina license, so I couldn't get one. So I took his, went and got a library card, because that's the first thing you do when you move to a new city. You go get a library card. I couldn't believe he didn't have one. So by the way, he's the most well-read person you could ever imagine. He's into all different kinds of things, including romance novels, if you pull up his card. So I'm like, I need to get my own card. We lost you there, Steve, for just a second, but you look like you were laughing and having fun. Steve Ketchum with us, young adult librarian over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. We look like we lost him there just for a moment, but I do wonder that if they kind of look and see what people have been pulling up and reading and looking at. So with that, again, we're so lucky to have the West Bloomfield Township Public Library System here in our backyard. Of course, we contract out with them here in our neighborhood as well. So if you haven't been to the library, they're back open. Go over, visit them, but also get a pass and go explore some of the great things that we have here in our own backyard, including the DIA and so many other museums here locally.